I remember 10 long years ago, when I was about 13, I saw the first Assassin's Creed trailer. Wide-eyed, the images of a large city appear, and a tower is focused on, with an eagle flying around it. Then I saw him, Altair, the first assassin. I was almost doing backflips in front of the screen when I saw it, but my parents at the time would never have bought it for me. The only way I could play the game is through one of my friends that had it. I was at my friend's house one night, and we played a bunch of other games first. After a short while, he fell asleep, and I snuck out, and I put Assassin's Creed in, and I settled in, and I played well into the morning. I was hooked. I was so blown away by everything. The graphics, the gameplay, the aesthetic, the story. 10 years down the track, we've had so many games, and now Origin has dropped. I asked the question, is this a step forward for the franchise? Or is it too little, too late? Assassin's Creed is a franchise that has been with us for so many years. The first game blew us away for its time. The detailed graphics and a parkour system like no other. Assassin's Creed saw everything improved greatly in the second iteration in the franchise, with more detailed graphics, fun, rich gameplay, and a great story with interesting locations. And it's probably why people love Assassin's Creed 2 more than the rest. A strong lead in Ezio with a nice balance of brooding assassin type and young, confident son of Florence, not to mention the great maps and cities from those games. But recently, Assassin's Creed has become a little repetitious, and less like an epic adventure through history, and more of a to-do list of objectives and collectibles. This rinse and repeat method has become jarring and annoying for the fans of the series, although they have managed to break the mold every now and then with games like Black Flag. It's one of my favourite games in the Assassin's Creed series. But the reason I think Black Flag works so well is because it was an awesome cinematic pirate game. The hours I dumped into defeating deadly ships, raiding warehouses, ambushing trade vessels, and so much more. Black Flag worked because we could play it like it wasn't an Assassin's Creed game, but the closest thing we could get to a good Pirates of the Caribbean game at the time. One thing I think that has been at the heart of the issue with the Assassin's Creed franchise is the combat. Although in previous titles it's fun and cinematic, it ultimately is far too easy. You can handle 10 or 20 guys. They just circle up around you and attack one at a time. And the combat at that point just turns into a counter-kill fest, with very little variation in enemy types apart from light, medium, and heavy variants, with a fresh coat of paint for each different faction. Another one of the core issues leading up to now with these games is the massive list of objectives that you get with each game. Each time having you run around, get feathers for your mother, songs to sing that fly away from you, and so many more. What we needed was less useless or irrelevant side objectives and far richer main and side quests, placing more time on character development, storytelling, world building, and game mechanics. I believe for the most part, Ubisoft have genuinely tried to remedy many of these problems in the latest iteration, Assassin's Creed Origins. The team behind Black Flag got this project, and rightfully so after a very rough few years for the franchise, with a straight up broken Assassin's Creed Unity and a fairly flat experience with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. They really needed a breath of fresh air into the games. Going back to the beginning of it all, to the very inception of the Order of Assassins and the Templar, is a great place to start. A new location, a new character, far removed from the other games, for a completely fresh experience. I found it difficult to compare Origins to the rest of the series, because it's a vastly different experience. Yes, you will do leaps of faith, and yes, you will be doing parkour. Yes, you do use a hidden blade. But it rarely feels like an AC title, and is starting to feel a lot more like a Witcher experience or Horizon Zero Dawn. Calm down. It's not as polished as those games. I'm just saying that's what it's starting to look a bit more like. Origins starts super slow, taking its time to set up characters, motives, and establishing what sort of Egypt you will inhabit, as well as teaching you the fundamentals for the game. It seems the whole control scheme so far is more streamlined. You don't need to hold 19 buttons to freerun anymore. It's all with one stick. A new combat system reminiscent of Dark Souls or Zelda. A climbing system that doesn't see you jump onto random surfaces. These address a lot of the previous game's issues. Now, they are not perfect, and they do still need some work. People will have difficulty getting used to these systems, hence the long and slow start to the game. San Creed does a great job of making its side quests feel important and relevant, making you feel a part of the world rather than just a player in the world. There are a few repeats in the side quests, but they do a good job of not just making it go here and kill dude. There might be an investigation first, and then you might need to ambush a caravan to find the location of a captain to steal documents off of a captain. This multi-objective side quests help give a sense of importance. In my first couple of hours of the game, I noticed I'd only been doing side quests the whole time. I was so sure I was doing story missions. I was just smashing these interesting side quests. It had me tomb diving, fighting crocodiles, and sneaking around enemy camps. In all Assassin's Creed games, we want fun weapons to use on our enemies. Some of the early games such as AC2 and Black Flag had vendors that you could buy weapons, outfits, or dyes for your outfits, but choice was always fairly limited, and each weapon more or less handled exactly the same regardless of its stats. In Origins, they have added a more statistical system when it comes to weapons, levels, and enemies. So Bayek gains levels by doing things. We all play games, we know how leveling works. You can't face enemies that are a higher level to you, because they will one-hit you. You can take fights with enemies that are the same level as you, but be cautious, because any more than 5 and things start to get real hairy very fast in Origins. Same goes for your weapons though. They need to have the right quality, damage, and level stats to be effective against your enemy. But don't worry, the game rewards you with weapons, bows, and shields fairly quickly. But if you like a particular piece of gear, you can upgrade it with the in-game currency at a vendor, so you can keep your favourite spear or warrior bow even if you find it early in the game. Origins has also added a ton of new weapon types, from swords, blunt weapons, spears, to many different types of bows. Okay, I'm about to say something about loot boxes and microtransactions. I will try and keep this short. The game only pushed them at me one time so far. Granted, that one time was straight after the title screen came up. After that, I have not even thought about them. To access the microtransactions, you have to go through 2 menus. And they never have reminders or anything shoving it in your face. I'm not looking at anyone. Shadow of War. Not to say that I didn't enjoy Shadow of War. I did. But loot boxes. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, why do we fucking need them? What do you, why the fuck we don't need them? What do we need them for? It's useless. I don't even want them anymore.
2 hours later.
Sorry about that. Disregard that. Sorry. Yep. The main point there was that they don't push the microtransactions in your face. They're pretty good about it. I'll tip my hat to them. They shouldn't have put them in the game in the first place, but they were pretty good about it. Creed-Ass Origins is far from perfect. I would have preferred a little more polish on launch, to be honest. But I believe they have taken a long, hard look at the franchise, and have genuinely listened to fans of the franchise. Although it's not a perfect 10 sequel we were looking for, I still think that it's a step in the right direction. But for now, I'm just enjoying the beautiful oases, the never-ending deserts, the lush, winding Nile, and the wind-swept pyramids full of secrets to discover. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy the videos, And if you have any thoughts or questions, just chuck them to me in the comments below. I'd love to have a chat about this stuff, or even just the state of single player games in general. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, it means the world to us here. And a huge thanks to everyone that got us to 100 subs. Peace out.